Hello out there in crypto land. How's everybody doing? Me? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you for that. I'm doing okay. I'm just sitting here, quiet night at home, looking at charts. So we're in an interesting spot right now in cryptocurrencies. We just had a nice shakeout via the China ICO ban. There's still a little bit of flack left from that. Some coins have made and are pushing into all-time highs. Other coins have not, and they're just kind of sitting around there in holding patterns waiting for the next shoe to drop. So what could that be? I'm not sure. Maybe it's different for each coin. Maybe the market moves up or down in mass. It's kind of hard to tell at this point. So let's do a top 20 review and see where we sit. We're going to start off here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a nice shakeout. Now we've come up here. We have decreasing volume at this point, indicating that there's a lack of selling, but we have yet to see increased buying pressure. I recently introduced the moving averages to my charts again, and we're sitting just above these moving averages. They converged here, starting to diverge slightly, and we'll see if that holds up. So they did kind of, the moving averages, when moving averages tend to converge together then diverge, that can cause a little bit of fluctuation for a while. So we may get some sideways movement before we curve upward or downward. But as of right now in Bitcoin, we see lower volume here, indicating a lack of selling, and at the same time we see us holding up above these moving averages in kind of a tight little pattern here. Just a holding pattern, nothing crazy going on. We do see a deceleration in Bitcoin, however. There's a deceleration in the uptrend. So we're going to draw this, right? There's a deceleration. There's a slight danger. We could do this. We could roll over and have a higher low based off of this low. We could have a higher low, higher low, and that would still be healthy in a long-term uptrend. If you're trading, however, that could be a little disturbing and a little upsetting. So you need to be aware if you are trading this or if you are holding this, and depending on your position and your time frame, that could be a little unsettling if that occurs. Not saying it will, but that is a danger when you have a rolling over type of a pattern. If we start to see this kind of form out, that could be the case. Like up here, you notice there's no real roll. It's just kind of a straight movement, then it goes sideways and it goes straight up, right? This is more of a rolling. So onto Ethereum, we see the same type of rollover action occurring. I'm still holding Ethereum for my buy down. There you go. So for my buys, I had several buys in Ethereum on this way up here. I'm still holding on to those positions. Again, we see the lower volume in Ethereum with the rollover. At the same time, we haven't popped up as much as Bitcoin has. So there's a little bit of trepidation here, and diverging with Bitcoin, we're actually living below these moving averages and we're moving with them instead of above them. If you remember, in Bitcoin we are sitting above them. In Ethereum we're actually sitting below the moving averages. So that is not a very good sign. However, there's a little bit of strength in this slight downward movement. One interesting fact here is I have two Ethereums in my trading view platform here. This one is from Bitfinex, if you can see on my hover, and this one is for Coinbase. Both showed slightly different patterns overall. The dollar one has the rounded top. The Ethereum through Coinbase has kind of a flat pattern. This flat pattern would indicate and usually lead to further upside. This rounding pattern is a little weaker. It's a little bit weaker. So a little bit of divergence, and even the charts in Ethereum when you're dealing with different exchanges. If you're not familiar with that, ask me a question. I'll be happy to explain the exchange differences. So Bitcoin Cash has had a nice little run up here. A nice little run up. I'm really contemplating taking a position here. I looked at it earlier in the day here, but I got busy with some other work, and therefore I didn't miss out on a little move here. But we have nice volume coming into Bitcoin Cash. If you notice during the sell-off, there's not much volume. We had some price movement here, but really not a lot of volume. So this is showing some strength in Bitcoin Cash. The fact that it really didn't sell off in any kind of volume and bounced back and already broke past the highs of the recent pullback. So we're already sitting up there. We could stair step higher. We could continue. I was drawing a trend line here that I was just thinking maybe it could hold, but we have this trend line intact and it could continue up here for some time. A little hard to say. This wouldn't be too bad of a place to enter. There's a natural stop down here at the 652 area in Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash. So XRP Ripple, kind of the same thing. We had two legs down via the well, I don't think this was the leg down via the pullback, but we had two legs down here, and we're coming up, testing this level, flattening out. Could lead to more upside action. We're resting above these moving averages, which is healthy. Volume is decelerating, which is also healthy. So this looks like it's poised to move upwards. There's not much downward pressure here, at least according to this chart in my mind. On to Litecoin, which has some really nice action. We've been talking about Litecoin breaking out of this channel, increasing its acceleration of price. And so we did pop back into the channel. We came back out of it, holding above the moving averages, having a little bit of a rounding pattern here, but it doesn't seem to be as, yeah, I guess it's the exact same. Actually, the chart doesn't even move if you flip back and forth between Ethereum. But look at this, if you notice, it's holding higher in the pattern. This was a large spike. This sell-off was already kind of due. So, but this is pretty healthy action. I think this is going to consolidate and continue higher. I do have a core position in Litecoin from this 72 area. So Dash kind of something similar, kind of flagging out here, going sideways, which is a little healthier. Again, volume very light here. We had the pullback here. Volume wasn't bad. Volume was not bad at all, and the highest volumes tend to be on accumulation bars here. So sorry, I mistook that. This is one of the high volume bars. This is an accumulation bar, and this appear to be reversal pattern here. You see it occasionally. It's not. Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. I take that back. These two bars. This is not a reversal pattern, obviously, but we did have a nice pop up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars in a row on good volume, increasing volume. So that is a positive. Now we're holding in this pattern above these moving averages. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, by the way. Give you a little bit of longer term perspective. Volume flattening out here. Dash looks like it could be going. This is about a 15% pop. I was looking at this earlier. NEM, New Economy Movement, really not doing anything here. I don't see any price movement. It's starting to curve a little bit downward, but not much. We're chopping around these moving averages, and volume is kind of flattening out. So no decision here in NEM. It's just kind of hanging out. IOTA's getting weaker. I'm a little disappointed in this one. I actually ditched my position earlier today, and the price action, I wanted this to flatten out. Instead, it caved under this low right here, off of this volume pop. It came through on this volume pop to the downside. Let me give you a more clear view of that. So this was a little high volume. I mean, not crazy high, but it was pretty high comparatively. And it came up, it had some support, then it flattened out a little bit, kind of low in the pattern, holding below the moving averages, which I did mention in my previous video. But I was hoping it would clear that. It did not. My hypothesis was proven incorrect, so I actually stopped out a little bit below here. By the time I noticed it was under here, we were down towards 62 levels, so I got out kind of up here. Volume's light, could decelerate further, hopefully it creates a higher low, and then we can move onward from there. But I'm out of it for now. It's just a little risky. It just seems like it has too much downward pressure. We're living below this moving average. Yeah, getting back towards the bottom of the channel. Kind of bearish on it. I took my lumps on it. Looking for the next trade. I actually have this position in cash right now. Monero holding pretty strong. Monero. So we have the move down here for the pullback, broke below the moving averages, came right back up into it, went sideways. We're consolidating here above the moving averages with pretty light volume. I mean, pretty light volume in this consolidation. These are the lightest volume bars in some time. Here's a really light volume bar. Past that, we have 1, 2, 3 of the lightest volume bars. in recent history happening here. So this is pretty good. Lack of selling, it looks like to me. Again, above the moving averages. So I think we could be due to move to the upside in terms of where we could go. There's a little bit of resistance here at 5% movement up, and not much really until you get to about 20% to the all-time highs. So pretty healthy there, pretty healthy in Monero. So Neo, in my last video, I mentioned Neo. I didn't at the time know why it popped up. Apparently, Neo started trading on the Bitfinex platform. Sorry guys, I get Bitfinex and Bittrex mixed up all the time. The one with the green leaf, the Bitfinex platform. So apparently the extra volume here was due to trading on Bitfinex. And yeah, so we're getting a pullback here on lighter volume. Really lucky on Neo for them to be trading here right after this large pop. We know about the ICO closure in China, and Neo took it on the chin on that one, and yeah, ramped up 50%. Now we're only up, you know, we're up less than that, but we'll see what it does. It's these moving averages have diverged to the downside. We already know that Neo was in a long-term downtrend based on this really large move up. And it's been consolidating that, coming down from the 54, 56 area. Now we're down into 30. Came down here as low as, what is that, 17 from 50. So yeah, really deep pullback in Neo. This does have some promise with the recent ICO. Fundamentally, what I mean by ICO is the ICO closure in China. It could be held back a little bit, but there's still a lot of platforms that could possibly build on it outside of China, I guess. But yeah, holding above the moving averages, which is good. Volume is decelerating. Just have to wait and see what it does. Ethereum Classic, you know, if you notice, they're all showing the same 2 legs down, 1 leg up, kind of testing this area. Most of them are holding a little bit beneath this area though, which seems to be a little bearish on a lot of these cases. Ethereum Classic looks a little bearish. Doesn't look like it wants to run. Doesn't mean that it can't. It definitely could. We see it's capable of these large pops, but just some of the price action here, these 2 large topping bars, looks just a little intimidating. Next up on the list is Omisego. Omisego, one of the ones popping into all-time highs directly after the shakeout here. So in my last video we talked about a inverse head and shoulders here. So let me draw that for those of you that aren't really familiar. We have this is inverse. Remember, inverse. This is the head. This is a shoulder. This is a shoulder. In between the shoulder and the head, you have two high points, which are your necklines. You draw a line across there, and that is your breakout point for that. Sorry, I don't use this tool that often, and when I do, sometimes it stops me from doing what I want to do. Come on, go away. All right, there we go. So I've already drawn this bar up here. So let me show you how to draw this bar. You go from the peak of the head to the neckline break, and then what you do is you extrapolate that move at the breakout point. It could be here, could be here, could be here. So it will change a little bit, and that is your target. So we have a definitive target, and this usually works out pretty well, guys, if you're not familiar with this pattern. Usually works out pretty well for a 34% increase. If you are thinking about getting into it now, you're looking at a 27% increase. So not too shabby on Omisego into all-time highs. You don't have too many of these coins doing this. Let's move this so you don't get that confused. Not too many coins did this at all. And if you see my I Love Omisego video, which is what it should be called, then you know that I think this coin has a lot of room to the upside. No selling in this chart pattern at all. Pretty much anywhere. The largest volume bar here was this bar, which is its bottom bar indicating massive accumulation in Omisego. Love it. Qdom, a coin I'm not super familiar with, nor do I trade. Nice run up here recently, creating the same island bottom we see in Neo, and it's running. It has some volume down here indicating accumulation at these levels. Someone likes it for something. I don't know much about it, but we could be due a run here up into the 44 area from 33, so that would be a 33% increase. That's some easy math, guys. That's some easy math. Liske, I'm really liking Liske here. Really liking this chart pattern. Yeah, it's really nice. We could chop around here. You see this larger symmetrical triangle that I drew out, whether it comes to fruition or not. Liske was also one during the sell-off that really didn't sell off that much. Came down, had these lows, and boom, popped right back up. Look at stair-stepped up. Stair-stepped up. We're flying above these moving averages. The moving averages are diverging. We could be somewhere in this particular space if, you know, if you're looking at moving averages diverging and you're looking at pops that have been consolidating. You know, we could be in a cycle something like this. It doesn't, never mind, it doesn't correlate at all, actually. We're in a larger consolidation. Let's go to the daily on Liske. As you can see on the daily, these initial bars kill these charts. Alright, so the daily on Liske, we have a large run-up coming here from the 13 area. Now we've 10x'd that into the 16 area. Pretty fantastic. So this is kind of a similar consolidation. I would expect maybe something like this, where we end up with a move in terms of, you know, 100% or so. That may be due out of this large pattern. This is a very constructive pattern, and yeah, I would like to see it move up. The pattern on the 4-hour and the 2-hour is very bullish, so keep an eye on Liske. We want to see increased volume. We do have some nice volume pops in the base right here and right here, stair-stepping us up. That's very healthy action. Stair-step up and flat, stair-step up and flat. We could stair-step up and flat again, or we could break out. It's hard to say. But decreasing volume outside of these large volume pops, if you take these two out of the equation, really nice and low volume here, really no selling. I have Liske US dollar, which shows the same thing. BitConnect, go away. Stratus here, still underneath this long-term descending trend line, sitting flat here at this support level, really not doing a lot. Need to see some action in one direction or another, I think, before you get involved. Zcash. So Zcash here, we have our two legs down and we have another pop-up. Again, living below this area, chopping around the moving averages. Not super strong. Yeah, not really much to do here. So we're going to cover waves next. Sitting at the lows here, not doing a whole lot. EOS. EOS still holding my now long-term hold position for my buy up here. Yeah, this looks very weak. EOS is looking very weak at this particular moment in time. We have a channel forming. Come on. We have a channel forming here, which is a bearish channel. If you have, anytime you have a downward movement with a upward sloping channel like this, that's bearish. It means there's probably going to be another leg down. Now anything can happen. Neo actually had one of these and then it popped based on his Bitfinex listing. So anything can happen, but I would not be buying EOS at this time. Pay is looking interesting down here. Very interesting. It did break below this level of 880 whatever, 80 satoshis, whatever you want to call that. Had a level here between 77 and 80. Broke below that. We're living below that. We do have some volume interest right here, which is interesting. I have my eye on this. I'm still debating if I'm going to take a position. There's some other ones I'm more interested in, but this could end up working out very well, especially considering that I believe it has a lot of upside potential. You're talking about 125% into all-time highs up there, even moving up into this prior high. You're still looking at a 50% increase. And if it gets some action, it could do it relatively quickly. Pay, as you can see, has that capability. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm looking for some more action. I would like a level to be broken, either this level or this level, preferably this level. That would really show some strength with large volume and lack of selling. That'd be fantastic. So a coin doing good here is Monaco as well, showing a little bit of accumulation. A little bit of accumulation in Monaco. Nice volume pop here. A little bit of increase on this upward slope, which is really nice to see. And then it did fail here at this moving average. That is not a good thing. That is a bad thing. But with this volume pop, we could consolidate and then break above that. We are sitting above these shorter term moving averages. This is the 30, and I believe this is the 15. This is the 70. So longer term we have some resistance, but shorter term we're showing a possible change in direction. These are starting to curve up with this volume increase. Anything else down here to report? Let me walk you through. A small coin that I've been trading and had some success with is TRIG. TRIG is a coin that does some IoT in the gun space, which is pretty interesting. They broke into all-time highs, weren't really affected by the sell-off at all. Had this nice pop up here, just blasted off today. Really was, I was hoping it would do that, but it was kind of unexpected. But hey, man, the charts do what they're going to do, and when you see quiet action curving up, you know, these things tend to pop. So that's what TRIG did, and I'm glad. And also ADX is one that we've been trading here. Trading here a little bit. We got in this at a really good level. A buddy of mine likes to trade these smaller coins, and he's had some success. So shout out to Adam if you're watching. I know you're not, especially this deep in the video, but if you are, wow, let me know. I'll buy you lunch. If you're watching this, I will buy you lunch. Yeah, we got in. Oh, wait, Bitcoin here. Now I can show you where I got in. So ADX and Bitcoin, we got in here at like 16. So we got in at a good level. We're up at 20. We're doing well. I'm still holding this. I'm looking for a possible higher move. We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it doesn't. It's kind of fun. And that's about it. So there's top 20 plus. So Bitcoin sitting above their moving averages with a rounded top sitting equal to this high indicates a little bit more buying pressure. Ethereum living below this level. I didn't mention that earlier, so bonus if you're still watching. Ethereum is kind of living below this area. I'm a little trepidatious on Ethereum here, but you never know what's going to happen in the crypto space. I've been doing more digging into Ethereum and technically what's happening with it, and I may do a video if I gain a further understanding that gives you guys any value, but I don't want to create any kind of panic, because what I'm finding could be bullish or bearish depending on how you take it. And I don't want to put information out there that's incomplete. So anyway, that's top 20. I'll see you guys later. We're running long. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.